Greetings. Welcome back to Creepypasta Bistro. Halloween has come at last, and we hope you all are wearing your costumes today and are ready for some trick-or-treating tonight. I am D1 the Hellcat. And I am dressed up as Dimitri Maximoff from the video game franchise, Darkstalkers.
And I am his Smurfy wife Gale. And I am dressed up as Smurfette from the Smurfs. We hope you all are having a wonderful Halloween tonight, full of tricks, scares, and sweet treats.
And for our treat to you all, we present you all this special episode of Creepypasta Bistro in time for Halloween. For tonight's episode we will read different short stories from different genres all in one lengthy video. We hope you all have your bags of candy ready for this episode. Let's begin our Halloween special with another trip to the virtual world of video games.
If you were a young boy or a young man growing up in the 1990 decade, there is a good chance that you have played or heard of the video game franchise called Mortal Kombat. Created by Ed Boon, John Tobias, Paulo Garcia, and John Edwards, developed by Midway and debuted in 1992, where multiple characters fight to the death to claim victory. Over the years, it has become a successful franchise with multiple sequels, 3 theatrical movies along with a 4th one coming soon to theaters, and even some TV shows and cartoons. And while Mortal Kombat is known for its violence, most notably, the fatalities and brutalities, and the occasional silly stuff like animalities, babylities, and friendships, they do contain interesting stories and lore within their own franchise that would intrigue any player beyond just playing for the violence.
With all that said, our video game creepypasta tonight is MortalKombat.EXE, where our protagonist downloads a Mortal Kombat game on his computer one night. But the game turns out to be much more than he bargained for, as it hides something very sinister, beyond being a file that would fill up your RAM space on your laptop. What is it about Mortal Kombat.EXE that made the other games look tame in comparison? Well, grab your gaming controllers for this story. It's game time. I've always been a fan of Mortal Kombat games, especially the Mortal Kombat Project games, but not anymore. In fact, I hate even hearing about the game. One day I was surfing the web for some games for my emulators, and I happened to come upon a game called Mortal Kombat.EXE. I'm not gonna give the link for the safety of you and your computer. But anyways, I thought that it would be boring and dull. But when I looked at the RAM it took up, it said that it takes 2 gigabytes, so I thought that the game would be exciting, because I never downloaded a Mortal Kombat game that took so much memory. So I clicked on the download link and started downloading the game. Surprisingly, it took over 4 hours for the entire game to download. The download then finished, but that's when things started to get weird. The download box popped up, letting me know that the download was finished, so I clicked run. Then my laptop screen burst into static and started playing a frequently high-pitched sound. Then the laptop literally went black. I then grunted to myself in anger trying to turn my laptop back on. After a few tries, my laptop finally turned on, the same as it was before except there was the game on my desktop. I thought to myself that the laptop probably just crashed from the large download. So I clicked on the game and it started playing. There was no music playing, the screen showed Goro and there the word arcade, versus, practice, options, and exit. So I clicked on arcade and the Mortal Kombat 1 arcade theme burst out of my speakers violently, nearly shaking the whole house. So I muted my computer thinking nothing of the sound, and what came up, I couldn't believe. The character selection screen came up showing a total of 276 characters. I was amazed. This was the best Mortal Kombat ever. So I selected one of my favorite characters, Chameleon, only there were 6 versions of him, so I chose the Mortal Kombat Trilogy Chameleon. Then a box popped up on the selection screen saying choose stage. There was a total of 500 stages, only making the game better. So I chose my favorite place to fight, the Mortal Kombat 1 pit. When I selected the stage, Shao Kahn's voice said, "Good choice, Layne." Two things popped into my head. One, how did he know my name? And two, how is his voice coming up even though my speakers are muted? Then the loading screen came up. I had to fight Hydro, a Mortal Kombat project character. So I started fighting and finally got to the point where Shao Kahn's voice said, "Finish him." Then, a box popped up showing a list of names. One was my friend's name, Jordan. So I clicked on Jordan just for fun. Then a box popped up saying choose fatality. Then another box came up saying fatality 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and stage fatality. I thought that it was awesome that every character had 10 fatalities and a stage finisher, so I chose stage fatality. When I clicked on stage fatality, it showed my character, Chameleon, uppercutting Hydro, causing him to fall into the pit spikes at the bottom. When he hit the ground, very realistic blood shot out of him as he screamed in agony. But Hydro's scream was so loud that it nearly broke my speakers. I was angry that I kept hearing noises from the game, as I'd muted my computer and confused as to why the noises were so loud. Then the words Chameleon wins. Fatality came up on the screen, but there was no Shao Kahn saying the name and fatality. Then Shao Kahn's voice came up saying,
"You will never win, Layne."
And I mean, loud. Then a bunch of pop-ups saying MortalKombat.EXE is not responding came up, crashing my laptop. I was frightened. I tried to turn my laptop back on, but it would not power on. I thought that it must have been a virus. Angrily, I put away my laptop, thinking to myself that I could try to fix it in the morning, since I'm good with computers. I then went to bed, trying to sleep but still thinking about why that game knew my name. I woke to a ringing noise. It was my iPhone 4. I looked at my phone to check what time it is, 2:30 a.m. I then answered the phone only to hear my friend's mom crying. I asked her to tell me what was wrong and what the siren sound in the background was. She told me that the sirens were police and ambulance sirens and that Jordan was dead, and he apparently had several large holes in his body. I tried to turn on my laptop, but then a message box popped up saying, "Thank you for playing, Layne. But I told you, you will never win." I was screaming and crying in horror and despair, as several message boxes popped up saying never. Then the worst thing ever happened to me. A bunch of pictures of dead adults, children and babies popped up on the screen. Then a message popped up saying look at him. Then a picture of my friend Jordan was shown, his eyes gouged out and his intestines popped out laying on the floor. He also had several gory holes in his body. The screen went black and a Mortal Kombat font came up saying Layne wins. Fatality. Then the screen went black. It has been 4 months since the incident, and I am traumatized by it, just like anybody else would be. The police found the man who killed Jordan. Oddly, he's the creator of the game I downloaded. Yesterday, I was flipping through the channels on my TV and I saw Jordan's killer in court on a TV show. I had to watch. After about 5 minutes, the judge asked him what he had to say before he was sentenced to death. He responded by looking at the camera and saying,
"Layne, you will never win,"
violently laughing as the bailiff carried him away.
For our next story, let's do another lost episode. If you have watched animated TV shows your whole life, there's a good chance that you are familiar with Seth MacFarlane.
Best known for his television comedies like Family Guy, American Dad, The Cleveland Show, and The Orville. As well as his theatrical releases like D1 and 2, A Million Ways to Die in the West, and the recent Naked Gun movie. Which yes, he did not direct, but was still a producer. But I digress. We will be looking at a lost episode of Family Guy known as The Black Dawn. Sounds almost like a parody of the 1980s action movie, Red Dawn, doesn't it? I'm afraid not. What is it about this Family Guy episode where those good old-fashioned values on which they used to rely are practically non-existent? Let's find out. On the night of the 15th of December 2006, an unlisted lost episode of Family Guy aired on Fox. It was originally produced the same year as a Halloween special in season 5, but it was cancelled and shelved because Fox thought it was too disturbing and frightening. They were right. No one outside of the production crew of Family Guy knew this episode existed until it aired. The reason for why it randomly aired unannounced is unknown. It was rumored to have been a complete accident. The episode was entirely in black and white, had terrible quality, extremely bad audio, and the animation was done horribly. When it came on, the Family Guy theme song didn't appear, instead just a black screen and awkward silence. Then after about 30 seconds a random beeping noise started, and soon a message appeared that said, the 8th of September 2006. Family Guy episode the 10th. The Black Dawn. The first shot showed the Griffin's kitchen. Lois had finished making breakfast and she told Peter to call the kids. Chris and Stewie came downstairs but not Meg. In this scene, everyone seemed either very depressed or angry, except for Brian, though he oddly sat in the corner of the living room and didn't talk. When Peter went upstairs to get Meg, he saw her cutting herself and drinking her own blood. He called her name, and she started running towards him and then slit his throat. Pretty soon Peter died, and Meg shoves him in her closet. The family heard Peter fall to the floor, and rushed to see what happened. They see Meg covered in bloody razor blade cuts. Lois asked what happened to her. And then Peter fell out of the closet, because Meg didn't do a good job putting him in there. The family was in shock and Lois started heavily sobbing. Meg then grabbed an axe hidden under her bed and chopped Lois's head off. She took a bite out of her head. Stewie and Chris ran downstairs to escape. They tried to warn Brian, who was still sitting in the corner of the living room. He just ignored them. When they called at him again, his head turned all the way around and he had a very creepy smile on his face. He looked possessed. He then tried to attack them. He chased them to the kitchen where Stewie grabs a knife and stabs him in the heart. Chris appeared to be upset about what Stewie did, but he told him he had no choice and quickly forgave him. Meg comes downstairs and chased them outside and are forced to hide in the Swanson's house. They told Joe about the situation. He then tried to deal with her, but Meg chopped him with her axe and did the same to Bonnie. Chris and Stewie escaped to the Swanson's basement. A few days later, they came out and saw that nearly everything had been destroyed. They found a newspaper and found out that a virus broke out and the zombie apocalypse came. They stood in the middle of the road where there was nothing but dead silence. They then saw Meg and several other zombies including Peter and Brian and the neighbors charging toward them. They found a chainsaw lying on their front lawn. Stewie grabbed it and started killing zombies with it. Meg was the only one left still alive. But Stewie saw that Chris was killed by the zombies with his face eaten off. Stewie got distracted by this and then gets killed by Meg. At this point, the quality got even worse. Meg then took her axe and accidentally chopped her own head off. Then the scene cuts to static and the episode ends. For our next story, we take a look at The Girl on the Train. Not to be confused with the 2015 Paula Hawkins novel, nor its 2016 theatrical adaptation of the same name. But anyways, what horrors await for this titular Girl on the Train? Let's find out. I live in the UK. A colleague at work heard this from her boyfriend. He works with someone who said that his sister's friend got the last tube home a couple of weeks ago. When she got on, there were 5 rows of empty seats, but the last row had 3 people sitting in it. As she was a little shy, she went and sat opposite them. She settled down and looked up to see the woman sitting opposite her staring right at her. So she got out her book and started to read, but every time she looked up, the woman was still staring. The train pulled into the next station and a man got on. He looked up and down the carriage, took a look at her and the people in the opposite seats, and came and sat next to her. As the train left the station, The man leaned back and said quietly in her ear.
If you know what's good for you, you'll get off at the next station with me.
She was scared, but thought the best idea would be to get off at the next station as he asked, as there might be people around. The next stop comes up, and she leaves the train with this man. The man says,
Thank God, I didn't mean to scare you, but I have to get you off that train. I'm a doctor and the woman sitting opposite it you was dead. The two men on either side were propping her up.
According to the guy who told this story, the girl and the doctor called the police, who stopped the train at the next station. Our next story tonight is The Girl in the Photograph. While there is another creepypasta called The Girl in the Picture, they are completely different stories, just with similar titles. The Girl in the Photograph is also much shorter compared to The Girl in the Picture. And The Girl in the Picture will be a story for another day. But anyways, The Girl in the Photograph tells the tale of a young boy who comes across this picture of a very beautiful girl and desperately tries to find her. Will the boy ever find the girl of his dreams? Let's find out. One school day, a boy named Tom was sitting at his desk by the window, doing math. It was 6 more minutes until school ended. As he was doing his homework, something caught his eye. Looking at the grass outside, he thought he saw a picture. When school was over, he ran outside fast, so that no one else could grab it. He picked it up and smiled. It was an image of the most beautiful girl he had ever seen. She had a dress with tights on and red shoes, and her hand was formed into a peace sign. She was so beautiful that he wanted to meet her. So he ran all over the school asking everyone if they knew her or had ever seen her before. But everyone he asked said no. He was devastated. When he got home, he asked his older sister if she knew the girl, but unfortunately, she also said no. At this point, it was very late, so he walked upstairs, placed the picture on his bedside table, and went to sleep. In the middle of the night, Tom was awakened by a tap on his window, like from a fingernail. It scared him. After the tapping, he heard a giggle. He saw a shadow outside. So he got out of bed, walked toward it, opened the window, and listened to the giggling. By the time he'd reached the glass, it was gone. The next day, he asked his neighbors if they knew the girl. Nobody did. When his mother came home, he even asked her if she knew her. She said no. Saddened, he went to his room, placed the picture on his desk, and fell asleep. Once again, he was awakened by a tapping. Taking the picture, he followed the giggling outside. He walked across the road, when suddenly, he was hit by a car. He was dead on impact, the picture still in his hand. The driver got out of the car and tried to help the boy, but it was too late. He could only pick up and view the picture he was holding. He saw a cute girl holding up 3 fingers. Next story on our list is The Portraits, about where a hunter stumbles across a cabin in the forest that has a bunch of portraits staring at him in anger. Are the portraits alive or are they just a figment of the hunter's imagination? Let's find out. There was a hunter in the woods, who, after a long day hunting, found himself in the middle of an immense forest. It was getting dark, and having lost his bearings, he decided to head in one direction until he was clear of the increasingly oppressive foliage. After what seemed like hours, he came across a cabin in a small clearing. Realizing how dark it had grown, he decided to see if he could stay there for the night. He approached, and found the door ajar. Nobody was inside. The hunter flopped down on a single bed, deciding to explain himself to the owner in the morning. As he looked around the inside of the cabin, he was surprised to see the walls adorned by several portraits, all painted in incredible detail. Without exception, they appeared to be staring down at him, their features twisted into looks of hatred and malice. Staring back, he grew increasingly uncomfortable. Making a concerted effort to ignore the many hateful faces, he turned to face the wall, and exhausted, he fell into a restless sleep. The next morning, the hunter awoke. He turned, blinking in unexpected sunlight. Looking up, he discovered that the cabin had no portraits, only windows. Alright, for our final story of the night, we will do another ritual creepypasta. We will show you all how to do the midnight game. A pagan ritual where you summon the Midnight Man and have to avoid him until 3:33 AM. What better way to celebrate Halloween than with a pagan ritual? Especially for Halloween.
Do you think you have what it takes to do this ritual? Well then, just follow along with these steps, and you will do just fine. Here are the steps to playing the midnight game.
The Midnight Game is an old pagan ritual, used mainly as a punishment for those who had broken the laws of the pagan religion. While it was mainly used as a scare tactic to not disobey the gods, there is still a very existent chance of death to those who play the Midnight Game.
There is an even higher chance of permanent mental scarring. It is highly recommended that you do not play the Midnight Game.
However, for those few thrill seekers searching for a rush, or for those delving into obscure occult rituals, these are simple instructions on how to play. Do so at your own risk.
It must be exactly 12 AM when you begin performing the ritual. Otherwise it will not work.
You will need a candle, a piece of paper, a writing implement, matches or a lighter, salt, a wooden door, and one drop of your own blood. If you are playing with multiple people, they will need their own of the aforementioned materials and they will have to perform the steps accordingly. Step 1. Write your full name, first, middle, and last, on the piece of paper. Put at least one drop of blood on the paper. Allow it to soak into the paper.
Step 2. Turn off all of the lights in the place you are doing this. Go to your wooden door, and place the paper with your name on it in front of the door. Now take out the candle and light it. Place it on top of the paper.
Step 3. Knock on the door 22 times. The hour must be 12 o'clock AM upon the final knock. Then, open the door, blow out the candle, and close the door. You have just allowed the Midnight Man to enter your house.
Step 4. Immediately relight your candle.
This is where the game begins. You must now lurk around your now completely dark house, with the lit candle in hand. Your goal is to avoid the Midnight Man at all costs, until 3:33 AM. Should your candle ever go out, that means the Midnight Man is near you. You must relight your candle in the next 10 seconds.
If you are not successful in relighting your candle, you must then immediately surround yourself with a circle of salt. If you are unsuccessful in both of your actions, the Midnight Man will create a hallucination of your greatest fear, and rip out your organs one by one. You will feel it, but you will be unable to react. If you are successful in creating the Circle of Salt, you must remain in there until 3:33 a.m.
If you are successful in relighting your candle, you may proceed with the game. You must continue to 3:33 a.m. without being attacked by the Midnight Man, or being trapped inside the Circle of Salt, to win the Midnight game. The Midnight Man will leave your house at 3:33 a.m., and you will be safe to proceed with the morning.
Indications that you are near the Midnight Man will include sudden drop in temperature, seeing a pure black, humanoid figure through the darkness, and hearing very soft whispering coming from an indiscernible source. If you experience any of these, it is advised that you leave the area to avoid the Midnight Man.
Do not turn any of the lights on during the Midnight game.
Do not use a flashlight during the Midnight game.
Do not go to sleep during the Midnight game.
Do not attempt to use another person's blood on your name.
Do not use a lighter as a substitute for a candle. It will not work.
And definitely do not attempt to provoke the Midnight Man in any way. Even when the game is over, he will always be watching you. Good luck, you're gonna need it.
And those are the rules to playing the Midnight game. Play it if you dare, survive if they let you. And thus we conclude our Halloween special of Creepypasta Bistro. Special thanks to Ricky, Chameleon, Hydro, Barry Burton, and Evil Flippy for their performances of MortalKombat.EXE.
Special thanks to Peter, Lois, Chris, Meg, Stewie, Brian Griffin, Joe and Bonnie Swanson, Glenn Quagmire, and Cleveland Brown for their performances on Family Guy The Black Dawn.
Special thanks to Giggles, Sniffles, Lifty, and Shifty for their performances on The Girl on the Train.
Special thanks to our sweet nephew Mark, his girlfriend Ruby, his sister Giggles and their mother, their classmates, and Lumpy for their performances on The Girl in the Photograph.
And special thanks to Elmer Fudd for his performance on the portraits.
Did you all like the dramatizations of all of those stories? Let us know in the comment section below. And stay tuned for more episodes of Creepypasta Bistro.
We will be back around December for some Christmas creepypastas. We hope you all enjoyed our Halloween special, as well as got plenty of candy from trick-or-treating. Thank you all so much for watching our Halloween special at Creepypasta Bistro. We have been your hosts D1 and Gale. Goodbye, take care, and stay safe.
And a happy Halloween to you all.